Trump's worst nightmare comes true. Mamdani strikes back, ignites New York. America, land of the free, home of the brave, stands at a crossroads in this moment. The torch of democracy glows bright in the heart of our greatest city, New York City. And now, emerging from that luminous skyline is a figure who declares not defeat, but hope, not retreat, but renewal. Zohran Mamdani, dubbed Trump's worst nightmare by observers, has just secured a massive and historic victory that resonates far beyond the 5 boroughs. As we witness his celebration of the election result and hear his vow, New York will be the light, we recognize a new chapter opening in our national story. In this video, we will explore his rise, the meaning of this win for America, the challenge to the incumbents, the clash with the President Donald Trump, the stakes for working-class patriots, the horizon ahead, and finally, what this means for the spirit of the United States. Let us dive in, because what happens in New York matters for us all. A historic rise. Zohran Mamdani's journey is nothing short of historic. At 34, he becomes not only one of the youngest mayors in New York City's long, storied history, but also its first Muslim mayor and a representative of neighborhoods that built this city with their grit and determination. His platform, free city buses, a citywide rent-freeze, municipally run grocery stores in underserved neighborhoods, and universal childcare, spoke directly to everyday Americans and New Yorkers who felt squeezed by the cost of living and ignored by traditional power structures. In recent coverage, analysts noted how his campaign tapped into younger voters, working families, and first-generation Americans hungry for economic fairness and dignity. When his supporters poured into the streets on election night, they were not just cheering a victory, they were cheering possibility, voice, and renewal. Flags were lifted high, chants echoed down avenues, and for the first time in a long time, many felt that someone in power truly saw them. Here, we recognize that the rise of Mamdani is itself a testament to the American experiment, that in this country, any citizen with courage, conviction, and community behind them can move history and remind the world that America's greatest strength has always been its ability to evolve. The Mamdani spark felt across the nation. Why does this victory matter for the United States? Because New York City is more than a city. It's a national symbol. It is our financial engine, our cultural heartbeat, and the gateway where generations first tasted the promise of America. When a candidate like Mamdani wins, it sends a message from the skyscrapers to small towns. This country is still a vibrant contest of ideas, not a playground for the powerful. His triumph over a former governor, despite sharp threats from the President Donald Trump to withhold federal funds, proves democracy works when people stand together. For patriots who love the flag and believe in America's founding promise, his win is a renewal, not a rebellion. It signals new leadership, rising from the neighborhoods that built this city brick by brick. It means voices once ignored will now be heard, and policies will serve families, not just donors. Most of all, it reminds us that America's strength lies in our ability to evolve, adapt, and rise to meet new challenges. In celebrating this moment, we honor the values that define us: freedom, opportunity, and the power of the people. When Mamdani's voice drowned out Trump's threats, in the vernacular of our times, this chapter might be titled Mamdani versus Trump. The former president found in Mamdani a foil. He branded him a communist, threatened to cut funds, and tried to mobilize resistance. But Mamdani answered not with fear, but defiance. "Turn the volume up," he told Trump in his victory speech. This isn't just theater. It is an ideological confrontation, one vision of America rooted in populism, wealth redistribution, disruption, the other rooted in legacy, hierarchy, and centralized control. As patriots who believe in the Constitution and the voice of the people, we vigilantly watch such clashes. They matter because the outcome isn't just who sits in the mayor's office. It's about the direction of governance in the nation's most iconic city. Mamdani's message is clear. The people of New York will not bow to intimidation. They will not surrender their future to threats. In doing so, they reaffirm the American character, brave, resilient, unbowed. Rising from the grassroots while giants tremble. Zohran Mamdani's campaign was built not on wealth or dynasties, but on neighborhoods, volunteers, and everyday New Yorkers demanding a voice. From Queens to the Bronx, residents long ignored by the establishment rallied behind a candidate who spoke to their struggles and hopes. He faced Andrew Cuomo, backed by powerful donors and entrenched networks, but Mamdani prevailed, proving that true leadership comes from the people. Even as former President Trump publicly threatened to cut federal funding and labeled him a communist, the city refused to be intimidated. New Yorkers understood this was about more than City Hall. It was about who holds power in the nation's most iconic city. In this victory, the grassroots rose while giants trembled. Mamdani's win is a reaffirmation that democracy works when citizens dare to act, and that America's strength lies in its ability to let ordinary people shape extraordinary change. The People's Mayor, fighting for every worker. If the flag is the symbol of our nation, then the backbone of the nation is its working class. Dock workers, transit drivers, grocery clerks, single mothers, small business owners, the teachers, the builders. Mamdani campaigned on issues that resonate deeply with those who feel left behind. Rising rents, transit costs, food insecurity, stagnant wages. In a proudly patriotic tone, we understand that America works when everyone gets a chance to work, to earn, to raise a family, to live decently. His promise of city-owned grocery stores, free buses, and a rent freeze may sound radical to some, but to countless families in New York, they sounded necessary. This is what democracy is for, to give voice to those who build the city, who keep it running, who make it hum. In giving victory to Mamdani, the people of New York affirmed that patriots aren't only those who wave flags, but those who care deeply about their neighbors, their communities, their city, and yes, the future of America. Beyond City Hall, a new dawn for America. Of course, winning the election was only the beginning. The real test lies in governing. For Mamdani, the challenges loom large, forging alliances in a state with deep entrenched power, delivering a bold agenda in the world's most expensive city, negotiating with business, labor, and civic institutions all at once. But here, the patriotic soul of America roots for success, because when our cities thrive, our nation thrives. When New York takes bold steps, the rest of America watches and learns. New York will be the light, he vowed in his speech, and that promise carries weight. It means the city will lead by example, by innovation, by lifting the voices of the many, not the few. It means the American experiment remains alive, vibrant, and renewing itself. So we watch with hope, not just for Mamdani's success, but for the success of a city of immigrants, a city of dreams, a city of resilience, and in turn, the success of our country. When New York leads, America soars. In the end, this election is more than politics. It is a reaffirmation of what America stands for: liberty, equality of opportunity, the belief that each citizen's voice matters. Zohran Mamdani's victory in New York is a moment of renewal, a moment of promise. Yes, there are challenges ahead. Yes, there will be scrutiny, pushback, obstacles, but that is the American way. We do not shrink in the face of difficulty. We rise. We do not surrender our dreams. We build them. We do not silence dissent. We listen. We debate. We improve. And as we look to the horizon, we remember that the story of America is still being written. And New York City tonight has turned a new page. The flag waves high, the torch still burns, and the promise lives on. Let every citizen, from Maine to California, from Alaska to Florida, take heart. When our cities thrive, when our people are heard, when our democracy renews itself, America endures. And as Mamdani leads New York, we hope and expect he will lead not just a city, but inspire a country. So to Zohran Mamdani, to the voters of New York, to every American who believes in the possibility of tomorrow, let us say congratulations. Let us say we stand with you. And to every city, town, and community across this land, let this moment remind you that democracy works when people engage, that leadership emerges from service, that the American ideal remains alive when we invest in one another. New York will be the light, and from that light, may a new dawn for all America rise.